All right, this is Arielle from Las Vegas, co-hosting one of my co-hosts in North Carolina, and introduce yourself and introduce your guest from New York.
Hi guys, I'm Sananda. I'm co-hosting with Arielle on her show from North Carolina. I have my special guest from Brooklyn, New York, Tesfa Samuel. Tesfa, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and why you moved from New York to Texas?
I moved from New York to Texas for school mainly. What I like to do is write poetry and anything involving literature, mainly short stories, and I hope to move into epic fantasy at one point.
hmm So, what exactly is it that inspired you to take that route? I mean, you're a nursing student. What kind of made is this like the writing something you do in your free time, or is this something you want to pursue over nursing?
The writing,
Yes.
it's not something I want to pursue over nursing, but it's something I want to pursue in the long
That's
run. I
better.
feel like with writing, extensive knowledge in anything can help your writing. Like
hmm
if I was to create a character and I'm well versed in the medical field, I'd be able to better create a medical character if he is to be my protagonist or something.
Okay. So I could see this helping children, like kind of creating that image for children, creating a character for children, like who are in the hospital, giving them a sense of comfort, you know?
Yeah, I definitely thought of doing children's books at one point, but that's something more for the money instead of the true passion. So it's in the back of my head. I just prefer to do epic fantasy, keep it dark, keep it gritty. That's what I prefer to write, honestly.
Where do you prefer to display your work? Where do you see yourself promoting your work?
Well, I want to create my own website, but for now, there's an app called Wattpad where a lot of upcoming writers will put their work. I also like to put a lot of my work on Reddit. There's amazing writing prompts I find there. I would do one a day or something, and you would just get quick feedback from others who are trying to do the same thing. I also thought about Tumblr, but I'm not too big on social media, which is something I should and need to do in order to get my work more out there.
Let me interject. So what I think about our World Center Broadcast Media, our television network online, I consider it television network online because we're gonna have a lot of channels and a lot of location, and I know we have a lot of shows here. So what do you think about that? Because it's a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's everybody are doing it, but ours is different. What do you think?
I definitely like it. The first I heard of it was from Sananda, so I don't know too much about it. But I really like using Skype. It's a common platform that everyone uses, and I like the whole TV aspect of it. So I guess I'll find out more about it. I would be able to better
Well,
answer that question.
did they share it with you also that you can share it on your Facebook? So if you can see it, can you see me? That you get your cell phone and you can share it also on your wall that people can watch you right now. Not just online, not just in our website. It's also watch
Oh,
it on YouTube and also what else? It's got Facebook, right?
that's
Okay.
really cool. That's really cool.
So
Better
if you pick up
interaction
your
that way.
cell phone right now, you just have to put our shows there, and you can be watched with your friends and family right now. Family.
Oh, okay. But like I said, I'm not too big on social media, and I do not have a Facebook, and that's something I need to work on in order to
Ah,
get
you
my.
should do that. If you're losing your how do you call that? If you want to become your what you want to become a
Yeah,
writer.
exactly. hmm That's why I need to work on it. As of now, I prefer to just like master my craft and put it on like other platforms besides social media. But I'm definitely working on getting it on social media.
Back to you, Sananda.
Can I ask why? What is it about social media that has you kind of staying clear from it?
Uh, I never really was a fan of it growing up. I don't like the negatives of social media, how it affects the society as a whole. But I know the positive, especially if you're a creative, there's a lot of positive to it. Just getting your work out there. But it just how society is affected by social media is what keeps me away. I'm not a fan of it.
hmm Well, I kind of agree. I actually had to start fasting from social media because I was getting so closed in by it. And every day I'd wake up and that'd be the first thing I'd look at is Instagram and I wouldn't even post anything. I'd just be looking at people's stories of their dogs, and I'm just like, what are you really doing? Like, eat breakfast, you know?
Yeah, it's like a new form of slavery, in my opinion. Might sound harsh, but it is what it is. It just keeps people locked in, keeps people away from their true goals. They focus on more superficial things, which I'm just not a fan of it at all. I just stay away from it. But like I said, I need to get my work out there, and social media is one of the best platforms to do it.
Yeah, you're right. And, there are limits as long as you can monitor yourself and limit yourself. But I do want to get back to your aspirations as an author. So what are some things of your present that you wish to bring to your future to be successful?
What do you mean, like things that are going on presently?
Right now, or any qualities that you picked up? Because I do remember you saying that you like finding out new things about yourself. Do you take these things with you to grow, or?
Yeah. So, I guess growing up, I've never been a fan of God or spirituality or anything that can be proved by science in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But lately, because of some experiences I had, I've found spirituality, and I wanted to add it to my writing. It's something. I feel like it's hard to explain how I'd bring it into writing, but it's definitely something that's just helping me find myself more, understand who I am and what direction I really want to take my work. For instance, I never really wanted to do poetry until I started this spiritual journey, and that's just something I found out immediately from reading a poem on the subway on my way home from work, and it was just like, wow, this is something I definitely want to do. I like the roller coaster of emotions that poetry can bring about within 2 lines, and I guess that's just it. Spirituality is really what I'm focused on right now, and I definitely want to incorporate that in my writing, just by finding myself out more.
How did you find your way into that spiritual aspect of your life?
I'm not sure if I'm really allowed to say it on this stream. I don't know how you guys feel, but it was a psychedelic experience, and conversation with other friends. Another friend of mine, she's an empath, and another friend of mine, we all had a psychedelic experience, and our outlook on life and the conversation we really had just changed me in a direction. I put down fantasy books for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I figured, you know what? I read a lot of fantasy. A lot of it started to become a bit stale to me. Like, it's the hero's journey all over again. Yada yada, this that. I'm like, I'm gonna take a break from this. I'm gonna come back to it later. Let me pick up different books, and that's how this spiritual journey began. I'm currently reading a book called Seed of the Soul. It's really amazing. I would recommend it to anybody who's watching this, by Gary Zubak, called Seed of the Soul.
Yeah, what was the name again?
Seed of the Soul.
Okay. So you've talked about how you've been impacted and what you steer clear from, aka social media. So how do you choose to impact the community with that in mind?
That's a good one. I guess I haven't made my impact on the community yet, because like I mentioned, I'm just more focused on myself. But I guess at school in Dallas, I feel like it'll be easier to impact it there, because there's like you're part of the Shorthorn. There's a lot of platforms where the UTA community is about or is a part of, and it would be easier to just display my work there and group up with other people who have similar ideas or just want to do the same thing in displaying their work. I just want to start off at UTA. That's the main thing for me.
Okay. So now that we're talking about UTA, the University of Texas at Arlington.
TV, right?
What was that?
No, I'm sorry. Keep going. That's your show. You have 55 seconds.
Okay. I guess we could kind of talk a little bit. I've heard you have a love for fashion, so I'm thinking maybe after this segment we can get into that a little bit.
Yeah. You want me to talk about it now?
Arielle, do we have time to talk about it now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
So growing up in New York, you're either into gangs or you're into fashion. I definitely chose fashion. Just buying clothing, being very materialistic growing up. It started off from a very young age. My mother would buy me like all the Jordans, and then around 4th or 3rd grade, I just told my mom, you have to stop dressing me. Thanks for the shoes, but you can't dress me anymore. So I started going shopping with her. I'm telling her, I don't want this shirt, I want this shirt. and I started putting together my own outfits from a very young age. Uh, my mom's into it too. Like half my whole family's honestly into fashion, so it was a lot of competition between us on the outfits we wore and everything. And when you go to school in New York, it's like you get bullied if you're not.
We will go back on the fourth segment. Empress said she's watching, she's texting, so we don't have. We're gonna come back on fourth segment. We'll be right back.